channel. Welcome back to the driveway. Alright, so today we're back at it again on the old second gen, the old 12 valve. What are we doing? Well, this, my friends, is a Mack Rack Plug. And the purpose of said rack plug is to essentially give me about another 2 millimeters of rack travel. So, process of doing so, you have two options. You can either A, pull the injection pump, take the old one off, put the new one in. Or you can try the option 2, which takes a little bit less time, obviously. And just go ahead and grind away a little bit of the timing case to get to it. If you guys can't see it, let me give you guys a little bit of light there. You can see right there. That's your plug right there. Like I said, all you got to do is cut you a little bit of room there to go ahead and etch the timing cover just so much so you can actually get in there and actually get to it. So what we're going to do, essentially, I'm put you on a time lapse and we'll catch back up to you here shortly. Before I get started, I've read on forums a lot of guys like to try to use an actual grinder and what have you to try to do this. Don't go that route. You can do a number of ways. You can use a die grinder with a simple carbide bit on it and you can grind away that way. But yeah, avoid the 4-inch grinding wheel around the timing cover. Just kind of a heads up, little notice there for you. Also, before I forget, if you guys are going to plan on doing this yourselves and you're going to go ahead and grind into the timing cover, or just simply, like I said, take a carbide bit to it, make sure that you actually, before you take that plug out, that you go ahead and clean the surfaces so you get all that metal debris that you're getting ready to cut out away from it, so that you'll have no problems metal going into your pump, because you don't want that, obviously. Pumps aren't cheap, and long story short, enough of that metal could get in there and do some serious damage. So again, just kind of a heads up. Alright guys, thanks for holding in there for me. Takes a little bit longer than you think to go ahead and grind it down. You're constantly having to basically check the new one to the opening in which you are actually doing. So let me go ahead and I'll show you real quick kind of what the end result will end up being. So you're going to cut it out a good amount. Again, if you remember the rack plug is, it's right where my finger is, right there. Again, make sure everything is clean before you pull that plug out. You don't want, obviously, any metal again to go into your fuel system, especially into a P pump. So we're going to go ahead and install it, and like I do everything else, we're going to go ahead and test it today as well. So just hang tight with me and we'll go from there. And also, before I forget, let me go ahead and show you guys basically the difference between the Mack Rack Plug and the standard one that you'll get. And it doesn't matter which P pump it is, 180, 190, 215 pump, or even a 160 pump, they all have the same rack plug in them. And basically, in the end of the day, what you're trying to do is you're trying to achieve another 2 millimeters or so of rack travel. Now, what does that mean? For the guys in the audience who maybe not know, long story short, there is a fuel rack. And the more travel that rack can get, the more fuel in which you're going to obviously get. So basically, you're looking at roughly, from what I can recall, about 60 cc's of fuel additional. So the left one there, that is the original one that came on the pump. The right one is the new one. You can tell right off the bat that there is a size difference. And always retain the crush washer that comes off the original one. Alright guys, so let me go ahead and show you kind of the finished result of what the install is. Getting it out's not the issue. Reinstalling the new one can take a little bit of time. You might want to use a magnet, because again, you want to make sure that washer stays in place. And a magnet, a flathead. Actually, I used a little push pin tool, one of these guys right here, because it's big enough to support the back side of the rack plug. So let me go ahead and show you real quick. As you can see, it's down in there. Just tighten it up with a 1 1/16" wrench. I'm obviously gonna get some engine paint and paint that little mockery I got going on there. But that's kind of about the gist of it for the install. Again, you could pull the pump, and some guys can do it in an hour or so. It's just after a while, if I start pulling stuff apart, I'm going to start fixing further stuff. So for this point in this series, we're basically just doing the build kind of like what most people would do. What's the easiest method? What gets me the most results quicker? If you've read any magazine that's doing a 12 valve build or what have you, they pretty much recommend doing the same thing. Just, you know, again, you can cut into it pretty good. I'll show you once again that right back there is like a half circle that where the plug usually goes, and you can pretty much cut back as deep as you want, as long as you get within that flush circled area. And that usually you won't have any worries about oil leaks or what have you. But again, like I said, we are going to test drive it and see what kind of change we have, whether it be change in smoke, change in boost pressure. Obviously at the end of the day, it's gonna be more fueling. More fueling should be more drive pressure, which should be more boost. But we'll check it out here. Guys, so for a simple mod that costs literally about like $10, and you can get them from everywhere from industrial injection. It's a Bosch part number, it's a 2095, but for a Bosch part number or Bosch part that you can pretty much, like I said, you can pick up just about anywhere. Industrial makes them, I mean, you name them. I mean, it's a common part that everybody stocks. I'll put a link in the description for it, but just in a short time of driving it around, not really getting it to much highway speed, with the combination of the AFC Live and that plug, for some reason I'm actually picking up more kind of in the mid-range, more so than what I would have thought, which would have been wide open throttle. But like I said, we're getting ready to hit the highway here, and we'll see what the boost pressure looks like at highway speed. So I'll be right back. Just hang tight for us a second. So we remember in the previous video that I was roughly right around 48 pounds of boost and the wastegate was kicking in. Well, right there we hit about 48 pounds of boost. Similar results there. And again, we're cruising. And, you know, aside from the fact that this thing rolls like a freight train at that kind of boost pressure, you know, we're maxing out. But the biggest thing was just to kind of give you guys an overall overview of it. And, you know, wide open throttle. She feels good, she's pulling good. So I'll check back with you guys once I get back to the house. All right guys, I'm gonna go ahead and finish out the video here. Biggest thing right here, I'm gonna go ahead and strive to you guys. We're trying to get back to racing season. You know, here we are, end of November, going into December, and God, we're dying to get back to the track. And this is basically going to be, like I've said before in many of videos, kind of a build series. I mean, I've already kind of taken a truck to a certain point. Next year I want to go ahead and see where we can get to the next level. I still want to be competitive bracket racing. That's never going to stop. But also I want to go ahead and prove to these old common rail guys that these P-pump guys aren't that far behind them. So thank you guys for coming out and watching, and like, subscribe, share this video. Again, there's not a whole lot of guys who actually did a video that I've seen on YouTube for the Mack Rack Plug. There's a lot of detailed information, you know, through whether it be Diesel World and a few other magazines that they did an online article about it. But nobody's really done a in-depth install and then drive. My previous video, what I did with the boost elbow, you can kind of gauge at that point, did we see a difference in drive pressure? Did we see a difference in boost pressure? I think we did. So again, like I said, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks again.